but weren't able to join. So to start, the staff will introduce ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Rachel Castelli. I am the development specialist of IRWMS for Tour de Tanglewood, and I also have a small portion of New Bern as well. And I do sit in the Charlotte office, and I've been with the society for almost 5 months now at this point.
Awesome. And I am Cole Eddings. I'm a development coordinator for IRWMS Historic New Bern. I've been with the society since January of 2019, and I sit in the Raleigh office.
Awesome. And I did see Cassidy was on. Cassidy is one of our interns. Do you want to introduce yourself too, Cassidy?
Yeah, hi, I'm Cassidy. This is my second week as an intern at the MS Society, and I'm loving it here, and I'm so excited to meet you guys.
Thank you, Cassidy. So, as we all are aware, we're getting a lot of experience getting used to technology from home. So it's great that these tools are available so that we can continue to connect with each other virtually. And today, to make the meeting best as possible, please remember to stay on mute unless you are talking. To be on camera, it adds quality to our conversation because we want to see your faces. And if you'd like to interact or ask any questions, Cole will be monitoring the box so we can get those answered for you. Okay. So we are committed to improving and expanding this program, and we can't thank you enough for sharing your journey with MS and supporting the ride as an IRWMS participant. A small section of our agenda this evening provides updates and information, but this session is really designed to be informal because we want to hear from you guys. So here's what we plan to cover. We have welcome and introductions from you guys, and then we will go over the COVID-19 response fund. And then we also will call for stories and a Q&A session at the end. Okay, now we're going to turn the spotlight on you guys and all of you amazing participants that have joined us today. So if you could please pop up on camera and share your name, what team you ride with, and how many years you've been involved with the society and the I Ride with MS program. So Karen, I see you first, Karen and Ken, so if you guys want to start us off, that would be great.
We're Ken and Karen Sowers. We are riding with the Chain Gang. We live in Wilmington. We had signed up for the first time last year and then everything got canceled. So we haven't actually participated in New Bern yet. And okay. What was the other question you had for me?
Let me see. I think you might have hit all of them. Is that? Yeah. Name, team you ride with, and then how many years you've been involved. Great. Matt, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name's Matt Alloy. I think this is it's my 8th year. And I've been 7 years the captain of Team MSBS, and now it's called Clemens Bicycle MSBS. And I also lead a self-help group here in Kernersville. So, and I ride in Tour de Tanglewood, and well, I was going to ride in New Bern last year, but wasn't able to do that. And I was going to ride with Missing Spokes, Elizabeth's team. I saw she just joined us there. So anyway, that's me.
That's great. And Matt, I also wanted to give you a shout out. Your team did so great in our flash sale this past week. It was so nice coming back and seeing your success. So that's awesome.
Well, thanks.
Beth, would you like to go next? Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. There you go. My name is actually Joel. I'm on Beth's computer right now. So
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem. My name is Joel Edwards. I'm a family physician in Moxville, North Carolina, which is just west of Winston-Salem. I've been riding with ridden in Tour de Tanglewood more than 15 times. Okay. And Actually, I had ridden 10 or 12 times before I actually was diagnosed with MS in 2012. So my older son said it was, he described it as being, I think he said cosmic irony, that I got MS after 10 years of raising money for the Multiple Sclerosis Society. So that's me.
Thank you for sharing. It looks like Debbie is next if you'd like to share.
Who?
Oh, hey guys, can you see me?
I can hear you. I'm not there.
How's that?
There you
Okay.
are.
Debbie Ham, captain of Team Momentum. I ride in New Bern, and I think this is our 8th year, I think. We did, I did ride at CBC last year. I think they had over 400 people, so it was a great turnout, but I cannot wait to get back to New Bern for sure.
Thank you. Elizabeth.
Hi, Debbie.
Hey, good to see you.
Did you call me?
I did. If you'd like to.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Page. I live in Raleigh, and I'm the team captain for the Spokes. We've been riding as a team since 2000, and I ride primarily in New Bern's ride, but I've been to Tour de Tangowood many times and a handful of other rides around the country, and been diagnosed for many years. I think it's 25 now, something like that. What else do I need to contribute here?
I think you're good. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoover. I live in Raleigh. I have a team called Team Hoover, and I've been diagnosed with MS for about 9 years now, and probably 30 years I've had MS not knowing it. And again, as with Elizabeth, we volunteer for a lot of things with the MS Society, and the best event is the bike ride New Bern that I look forward to every year, and hopefully we will have it this year.
Absolutely. Jen, would you like to take it from there?
Hi, I'm Jen Martin. This will be, I think, our 5th year riding. I ride with the McKimmon Creed team. I think this is the first year that my son is finally going to be able to ride with us. My 2 daughters have already hit it with us a year. Last year, of course, was supposed to be his first, but he says that he's going to try again this year, so we'll see.
I love it. I'm so glad that he's planning on riding this year.
Yep.
Karen, do you want to go next? If you could just share your name, what team you ride with, and how long you've been with the society. Okay. We're going to move on to Lisa and hopefully go back to Karen.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have been riding. I haven't ridden yet because last year was supposed to be my first year. But this year will be my first, and my husband's going to ride too, with Debbie Ham and the Momentum team. So we're looking forward to it. Hopefully it happens.
Yes, yes. Lisa? You're good. No, not yet. If you want to, you could always type it in the chat box as well. Okay, sounds good. Cole, did I miss anybody that you see?
I do not think so, but if we did skip over you, we saw a few people join during that, then feel free to pop up and share, because we definitely want to make sure that we get everybody on the call. Okay, sounds like we're good. So,
Okay, cool. And Lisa just put her message in there as well. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, cool. I'm going to pass it to you if you want to start the updates from the.
absolutely. So the safety and well-being of people with MS is our highest priority, and we wanted to make sure that you are aware that the Society has posted and continually updates information about COVID-19 on our website at nationalmssociety.org. As of right now, the Bike MS Carolinas rides are scheduled to take place as they were. If they were to change, we would let you guys know immediately. And if you would like to be emailed information about virtual programming that the Society is doing, please leave a note in the chat box or send us a quick message after this meeting is done, and we will follow up with you guys. Now, this is likely not a shock to anyone on this call, but the COVID-19 pandemic intensifies the challenges of MS. Anything from difficulty affording to medications to increased isolation. Now more than ever, people affected by MS rely on critical information, support, and connection to remain strong and resilient throughout this crisis and beyond. And though we've had to adjust to get people living with MS what they need right now, we remain steadfastly focused on our mission in creating a world free of MS. Your support of the National MS Society and the COVID-19 Response Fund ensures that we can meet the urgent and expanding needs of the MS community during this critical time. Needs like virtual programming and support groups so no one has to face MS alone, a partner to navigate the challenges of COVID-19 and multiple sclerosis, resources and information that support healthcare providers to deliver care, amplifying the voices of the MS movement to influence critical policy decision, and most importantly, advancing research to find a cure. The need is urgent and significant given the cancellation of society events in person across the country. The MS movement stands to lose $60 million in vital funding for research, services, and advocacy. People affected by MS are counting on you, your support, your leadership, and your teams to drive the response fund forward. And to give you guys a little bit of background on this, we created this as an organization when COVID-19 started to hit us hard financially. And the sole purpose behind it is that we can ensure to continue to provide programs for those living with MS during this time of financial need. This fund solely focuses on the continuation of those programs and especially research at this critical moment. And now I'm going to pass it to Rachel.
So before we hop into our stories, I also wanted to share an update from our flash sale. We actually registered more than 650 cyclists in the Greater Carolinas market, crushing our goal of 300, which is very exciting. For Tour de Tanglewood, we had 140 people register for the ride, and then for New Bern, we had 520. So I just thought that that was a really exciting update that I wanted to share with you guys if you have not read that email already. But back to the call for stories. Everyone has a different reason for getting involved with MS, and for some it's the challenge, and for others it's the camaraderie, but for many more it's the opportunity to help people living with MS. Ultimately, by writing, you are showing your support for thousands of people affected by MS. So MS is cruel, overwhelming, exhausting, and unfair. It takes things and never gives back. We at the MS Society believe that we can change the world for people living with the disease. We've never been closer to a cure, to understanding how to prevent the disease and reverse its course, to finding more treatments and bringing life-changing solutions to everyone affected by MS. We've reshaped life with MS and paved the way for nearly 20 all for the nearly 20 treatment options available today, none of which existed just 30 years ago. Each September, we bring over 2,600 cyclists together in the Carolinas to celebrate how far we've come in the MS movement. Join us for an extraordinary cycling experience, Bike MS, and be a part of the generation that ends the disease and changes lives for millions of people affected by MS today. It's only possible with you and many others who support the National MS Society. The next chapter in our lives with MS could be the last. And so we wanted to share with you our message that we crafted of inspiration to share with your friends and family. And this is a time to learn why you ride and the sharing of importance of the contribution. Below, as I just read, is an example of what Sammy and she shares with her folks. But the I Ride with MS program is the core of our mission of Bike MS, providing visibility and support to our participants living with MS. And at this time, if you feel comfortable, we ask that you share your journey with MS and how you became involved with the society. I think it's great that we can all learn from each other during this time. So definitely not mandatory, but if you would like to come up and share your journey, we would love to hear from you. If anyone feels comfortable.
I'll talk for a minute.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, as I think somebody mentioned that they'd had MS a lot longer than they've been diagnosed, and I'm certainly one of those folks. Back in 2000, one of my legs went to sleep when I was staying with my wife in the hospital for several weeks, and after about 2 or 3 weeks, it got better, and then about 10 years later, when she actually passed away, about a month later, I had another episode where I developed foot drop, and all my scans were normal at that time. That was in 2010. And then in 2012, I was walking with the person who's now my wife, actually, and I got to the point where very quickly I went from training to do a triathlon to hardly able to walk at all within the space of about 2 weeks. And it was pretty clear then that there was something wrong. Been through several different medications. Most recently, one of the cancer drugs I was on, but I haven't been on anything now for about 6 months, and about 8 months now. Partly because I developed throat cancer and have been through chemotherapy and radiation for that, and finally getting better. And so I'm back again, bike riding, walking, and working part-time at my office. So that's me.
Thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to share?
I guess I'll go. I got diagnosed with MS, like I said, about 9-10 years ago. I got involved with the MS Society actually through a bike ride. People in our Sunday school class at church decided once I was diagnosed that we got to do something to keep me occupied and stop, from going crazy. So we formed a bike team where we started out with 9 people, just from our immediate church and a couple friends. And now it's grown over to close to 62 riders.
Wow.
Over the last 9 years. And, we've got different things. We also participate. We have like 4 walk teams that we do the MS walk with. And, I do a lot of advocacy work with Elizabeth, who has really been kind of my mentor in all the advocacy work that we've done, or that we also do. And again, it's a god awful disease, and we gotta find a cure for this. This is the best way to do so.
Completely agree. Thank you for sharing, Chris.
Can I add one other thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, MS is terrible, as Chris just said, and it can really throw you for a loop. But I just wanted to say that I mentioned that the person that's now my wife and I were walking, the year, 18 months after I was diagnosed, we climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and and I gave her a diamond on the top of the mountain.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh.
That's awesome.
So that's it.
I'm going to add a couple more things too. Someone said their kids are riding for the first time. Well, I've got triple girls, and 2 of them are going to ride this year. And third one, I'm trying to talk into riding, but you know, it's college kids trying to pull them to do stuff is like pulling teeth sometimes. And so that and again, that's why research is really important, because I don't want to pass this on to them, and we don't know if it's through the genes. We don't know if it's, what the cause is to this, and I hope it's not through the genes, but if it is, we need to find a cure. So not just me, but other families and people that have MS, this doesn't get passed down to them. That's all I have to say. I won't interfere anymore.
No, please, this time is for you guys to share and interact, so please feel free to say whatever. This is time for you guys. Anyone else?
I'd be happy to share next. The gentleman who's married to Beth, is your name Joel, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to, I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I find it very interesting because a lot of us were diagnosed during stressful times. You mentioned you were in the hospital with your first wife when you started having symptoms, but even after you were tested and had your MRIs, your lesions hadn't shown up yet. That scar tissue from the damage had not shown up yet, and that's really something that I like to share with people, because so many people are on a long journey of figuring out what's going on with their bodies, and it's disheartening when you don't have answers. I was actually relieved that I found out pretty quickly after having my third child. So
Oh, Debbie, I think you lost your audio. I think she lost our audio too. There we go. There we go. I was about to say, we all need to give her a wave. Not yet. Okay. Almost, I think. I think now it's on. There you go. Okay. I'm sure Debbie will join us back in a second, but does anyone else want to share while she makes her way back to us?
I can share because part of the reason that I got involved is because of Debbie Ham. So I'll talk until she comes back, or at least a minute. I was diagnosed 10 years ago, and I had, is she back? Okay. So I was diagnosed, I had eye pain, and, had the MRI and all the things, everything looked fine. This was in like 99 and was fine for 10 years. And then developed some tingling and, all these other nebulous stuff that you get with MS, and come to find out, and some back pain, and come to find out I actually had MS, and went on Gilenya and had still been on it and been actually perfectly fine, which I can't complain about. My kids met Debbie's kids at a camp for kids whose parents have MS, and she got me involved because she's contagious like that. And I've walked in her 22-miler the past 2 years, and doing the ride this year. So I'm grateful to be as well as I am, although I don't, I do have some problems. I feel like a lot of them are mitigated by exercising every day and just trying to be healthy. But I've been grateful for the people I've met through the society and the events that we've been a part of.
Thank you so much, Karen. Debbie, do you want to try one more time?
I'm so sorry. I got another call and I think it took my audio off when I declined it. So I don't know where I was. I talked about the walk team, right? Okay. Did I mention that?
I don't think I heard much.
No.
No,
Okay, so basically I had started with Walk MS for 10 years, but I really felt the desire to get involved with multiple events with MS Society. And I'm so glad that Karen's on here to share, because we really did. I mean, we live in the same town and we only met because our kids went to camp like an hour away. And so it was funny because, I mean, a lot has come from that experience through our children. So I'm so grateful to the MS Society for that.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was diagnosed in 2008, always did the walk team, large team, lots of money, but my bike team has always been really small. And I like it like that because the majority of the people on our team have MS. We are not the team where like all these professional cyclists want to come and ride with us. We're that team where we just pick up people. So we might have, 16 riders and 8 of them have MS. I started in 2014 after a friend of mine passed away after living 20 some years with MS. I was really kind of broken from that, but I did the ride and I was instantly hooked. And I think it's because it's a whole weekend experience. The walk is so much fun, but like those few hours were just not enough for me. I loved going to New Bern and really connecting with people all over North Carolina. And so I've done it every year. I was just going to do it one year and I've done it every year. And like I said, we're still such a small team, but I think we always have the highest percentage of people with MS, and I'm really, really, really proud of that. So I'm glad that Karen can join us. We were bummed when the ride had to be canceled last year. So I'm really excited for her and her husband to get out there and experience it for the first time. So thanks.
Thank you, Debbie. And thank you for bringing Karen to us.
You might not see that if you see me ride my bike.
Are you going to go, Karen?
No, go ahead.
All right. So I'm Matt Aloy, you guys, and a number of you know me from different conferences and MS Society events, but thought I would spin back a ways to tell you how I got involved. I was diagnosed with MS more than 10 years ago, and I never would have imagined I'm in the place I am right now. So as the story goes, my wife convinced me to go to a self-help group. I didn't want to go. I don't need any help. I'll deal with this on my own, everything, I'm a guy. I don't need that, right? Well, after a year, I ended up getting voluntold to lead that self-help group. And I said, well, I really don't want to do this, but it seems like it's the right thing to do. So I started leading this, what was the Kernersville self-help group with another lady, and that's where the name MSBS came along. She said, well, we were trying to figure out a name for the group. And she said, well, I think MSBS is great. And I said, yeah, but I can't, that's not going to go good on public forums. So I had to think of it, Be Strong, MS Be Strong. And so we were leading the self-help group, and then the president of my company decided that it was his 50th birthday. And he decided that he would have this party. And at this party, he gave everybody in the company, he had an envelope, and in that envelope was $50. And he didn't tell us what was in there. And he said, and this is like for 400 people. And he said, do something good with it. You can have it as long as you do something for someone else. So that was the first $50 I used to ride and bike MS. I said, well, now I only have to raise $150 more. And I found it was really easy to raise money. And before you knew it, I had said, so I can put the self-help group and bike MS together. And before you knew it, I kind of had a very mission-oriented team going. So I never would have imagined. I didn't really ride in any bike rides until I had MS. That was kind of what got me going, was the Tour de Tanglewood. And then I discovered I loved it. It was great exercise, met a lot of wonderful people. And here we are, I don't know, 7 years and $300,000 later. So it's been quite a ride. So that's a little bit about my story.
Thank you, Matt. That's awesome. Does anyone else want to share?
Can I say something about the bike that I ride and how I got it?
Sure, please.
It's huge. All right. A friend of mine that rides comes down from Ohio, and that's where I'm from originally, is Toledo, Ohio. And I'm a friend of mine. I have a bunch of friends that come down, guys that I played basketball with in college that come down. Well, they were friends with this guy that I grew up with from the, elementary school. Well, so happens he has a custom bike shop out in California, right on the strip of California. So I get this email one day, and that email said, Chris, I'd like to, this is Jeff Van Sickle, I don't know if you remember me from the 3rd grade or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I hung out with the guy. And so anyway, he said, I want to help you out and customize a bike for you. Well, he sent a bike all the way from California down here that has, the crank arm bike, and it also has an assist motor to it. And it is a 3-wheel bike, which he didn't charge me a dime for it.
Wow.
So, that guy was just, that was unbelievable for me, to have that unexpected, that was totally unexpected, totally off the wall on that. So I didn't get a chance to use it in New Bern last year, but I had another makeshift bike that was put together with pegs and wood and everything else, that I rode a couple years ago. So I'm hoping I'll get an opportunity or chance this year to ride that bike again, which is we're working on it. We had some tweaks that we had to do to it. But anyway, sorry, again, I just, stories like that and stories that I'm hearing right now it's just unbelievable how people come and totally unexpected, and people come out of the woodwork to help people like that. So
that's so special.
Chris, this is Matt. I just, on your bike story, I wish Guy Amarati is another member of our team that rides with MS, and he just got a brand new, he couldn't balance on his bike anymore. So he got a brand new recumbent bike, and there is a organization out of Texas called Meat Fight that actually provided him with the bike. I think they allocated a couple of $1,000s for him to get the bike. So the reason I mention that is, number one, it's really cool. And number two, if there's members of your team or folks that you know that would like to ride that don't have a decent bike, that is an avenue that you can go. A person at the conference provided at the, the national conference this year, provided me with information. So if you want information on them, I'm sure that Rachel and Cole, or you could contact me also.
All right,
So.
perfect. No, that's awesome. You know, this bike that I have is patterned after recumbent, but it's like I'm in a wheelchair almost, and I'm sitting, you know, in with my feet down, not up in the air. And so, I mean, he like I said, he did all this custom, you know, welding and all this customized things for this bike, and that was, you know, my debut actually was at CBC, you know, out last year in the fall, which I only made it about 6 or 7 miles, but you know, 6 or 7 miles I wouldn't have been able to do without that. But Matt, getting back to you, I definitely, you know, if we run into that, I will definitely get a hold of you and find out more information on that.
Mm-hmm. We can definitely share some information on that. I actually spoke with, I think his name's Mike Casey with Meat Fight, and he did mention that before. So I will send you some information about that as well. Thank you for bringing that up, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else want to go?
Well, I'll jump in with a quick question for you guys. Now, you guys are leaders in our MS community, and especially being a part of the I Ride with MS program, we really look to you guys, you know, as being the leaders in that community. And I did want to pose the question to you guys. We are facing a $60 million revenue gap this year, which is tremendously going to affect our programs and a couple of research things moving forward. We are working extra hard around the clock to make sure that we can maintain that revenue for this year. And I did just want to ask if you guys would share any powerful fundraising tips that you guys have found to be successful, any ideas around that, and then just any suggestions as to how we can improve this year and meet our revenue goal, because that's what really funds a lot of the stuff that we do for those living with MS. And I just like to pick y'all's brains because the I Ride with MS program, typically you guys are much higher fundraisers than your peers. And yeah, so if anybody would like to speak to that, we are all ears.
This is Elizabeth. I think the whole key to this year is going to be starting right now. It's just going to take more emails and more touches, and so kind of the earlier we get started, the better off we'll be when we get to the to the deadlines and that for fundraising. So I'm starting earlier than I normally would for sure, and just using all those tools that the MS Society has with messaging and that. I think that's really effective.
Sure.
One of the things that I'm going to try to do this year, and certainly my fundraising is going to take a hit, but I am going to try to be a lot more targeted with those I fundraise to, like for those that have just lost their jobs or I know are struggling and I normally would have asked them for money. I'm probably not. But those that I know that are, for instance, retired and on a fixed income and didn't change much, not much change for them, other than they couldn't go out as much. Those are the folk that I'll target first. Even my work where everybody took a pay cut, when they restore people's pay, that's when I think I'll ask people for money. Kind of not immediately. So I guess the theme is timing, and I realize you want to do it early, but at the same point, you got to understand where people are at, and if they're friends of yours and people that that you're going to be asking for money, understand a little bit where they are, or even ask them a question, before you ask them for money. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you for sharing.
It's really tough. I mean, for everybody. And like for us, we always had a huge fundraiser. We canceled out at the beginning of June here, and it raised about 10 grand, for our fundraiser that we did. And so we had to cancel that. So we are scrapping pieces together right now, trying to figure out, which direction and how, as a team, we want to, suffice for some of that money. And one of the things that we're going to be doing in mid-July is there is a bar that's doing a lot of pickup business. They bottle and can their own beer, and it's right up the street. And so what they're going to do is they're going to have a weekend fundraiser where 20% of all the proceeds is going to go to Team Hoover for pickup. And then we're going to do a couple raffles of people that make cornhole boards. And so when they come, people will be able to, not only pick the beer up, but they'll be able to also do the raffle for the fundraiser. And Cole, you were part of that. And so were you, Elizabeth. You guys know what I'm talking about as far as having a big, gathering, because we'd have like 300 people in our cul-de-sac, and everything was donated for free. I mean, and all we had to do and, raffle off prizes and from restaurants, etc. And that's not happening this year. So it's a tough road. It's a tough road to hoe. And so I guess getting creative and thinking outside the box is, something that everybody has to do on that.
Absolutely. I know I definitely miss your cul-de-sac party this year. It was a great time last year, so I'm definitely looking forward to 21.
Yeah. Still might have it in the fall if, things improve.
Absolutely. I love that.
I'd like to share. Can you guys see me or just hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what is going on with my. I love what Elizabeth mentioned. We really do need to start earlier because this is such a difficult time and there's no reason to wait. For me, I always try to make it personal. I think it's really important for people to understand why we are still planning to ride even through this pandemic. Even us who are compromised with our immune system, especially after not being able to ride in New Bern last year. I mean, there's like nothing that's going to keep me from it. So I think I need my donors to understand why I'm still doing this. And, this year is so unique with COVID. So I just think it's important for them to know that, MS doesn't ever stop. So we're not going to. And I love what Chris mentioned. I think there's so many opportunities for us. People do want to get out and they do want to be a part of something. So partnering with local vendors who see that as a win-win is a great way for us to just raise more money. So that's my plan.
Thank you, Debbie.
Well, I wanted to also circle back and mention one thing. I really appreciate Matt's comments about being sensitive to where people are. But I've noticed, in with the folks who've already been trying to fundraise through COVID times with WALK, This walk was just getting started when COVID hit. It's really kind of amazing. If you don't know a person's situation, don't make assumptions about asking them. What I've found is that people are fine with you asking for money as far as your intention, because they realize how much more of a challenge COVID is for people with underlying medical conditions and all of that. So it's okay to ask. If they don't have the ability to give, it's fine. And they'll just make that choice. But also, it's kind of surprising to me. I saw results from a survey about how many people are actually saving money during COVID. So it's important to not make assumptions, because you might be surprised. Some people may be stepping up their donations this year because they know the need is so great.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point. I think that it's a really interesting year all around. The virtual format is brand new to people, but I think that one thing that we're very excited about the National MS Society is to build on this virtual momentum that we've created, and to really invite people to maximize the resources that we have, like Facebook fundraising, email writing campaigns, and stuff like that. So I'm excited about the growth that we've experienced in that sector, but of course we still have miles to go in terms of fundraising.
Yeah, I'll echo what
Paul,
Elizabeth.
how is the like some of the national sponsors and things, how are they reacting to this? Are they, like the food vendors and things that you guys use, how are they reacting to the situation, or the bike rides from Tanglewood and at Newbern?
I think it really varies by event. At this moment, both of our events are scheduled to happen, so we haven't had any sponsors pull out. However, various campaigns around the country have seen major losses with sponsorship, because those sponsors count on event representation and exposure. Otherwise, there's no benefit in a way for them donating to us besides the just general donation. So we have seen significant losses nationally from sponsorship, but locally we have not seen that in the Bike MS campaign. Walk MS has.
Well, Cole, one of the things I'll echo what Elizabeth just said a minute ago. I work with another organization called Carolina Honduras Health Foundation, and we do medical missions in Honduras. And our mission teams have not been able to go since the middle of March. And we've let people know that from the standpoint of fundraising, and our fundraising for the organization is actually significantly ahead of where it has been in the past. And so people, when they recognize that there's an issue and a problem and a need, I think I think we have to be sensitive to people's situations, but at the same time, people sometimes are actually more willing to give in times of disaster. So, and I'd consider COVID-19 a disaster.
You know Chuck Nichols and Bob Kimball from Honduras?
You're on mute, Joel.
Joel, you're on mute.
Oh, back again. I don't know them, no. I'm sorry.
Okay. I just didn't know, because they're pretty active in, Honduras missions and things like that.
There's a lot of mission teams. Every time the plane is almost full of mission teams going down, particularly during the summertime. We usually go in the winter also. We send 18 teams down there every year.
Wow.
On good years.
Awesome. Well, do we have any more thoughts around fundraising or anything of that nature?
It looks like also, sorry, it looks like Susie just hopped on. Hi, Susie. Welcome to the conversation. would you like to share what ride you're involved with and how many years you've been with the society?
New Bern, historic New Bern, and I think that this is going to be the 9th or 10th year that we've done the ride. My kids and I do it.
I love it. I just wanted to make sure that you probably know many of the faces on here, but I just wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. But right now we're talking about creative fundraising ideas. Do you have any that you'd like to share with the group? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you do have anything to share, please feel free.
I do not. Sorry.
You're not getting back to this. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. So,
Susie, which team are you with in New Bern?
Team Hef. It's myself and my mom and my kids.
Okay. Are you normally in the picture that we take on Saturday mornings with the jerseys?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I've had the chance to meet you yet. So I love that we have this call because I feel like we always get to meet new people. And Joel, are you at New Bern too?
Oh, Joel, I think you're on mute. There you go.
I'm a Tour de Tanglewood guy. I was just sending Colin a message. I was trying to, I can look it up, but when is the New Bern? I've thought about it several times going down there, but I haven't. When's the New Bern ride?
25th and 26th of September.
Okay.
26th and 27th, but most people will come down on
right.
So it's
Thank
2
you.
weeks after, 2 weeks after Tour de Tanglewood.
That's correct.
Okay.
Is that why it got moved?
So the reason why we had a date change is because we had a venue conflict with Tanglewood Park. So we actually flipped them. We were going to have them on the same day, but that would have been just disastrous. So we were forced to move it 2 weeks later, unfortunately.
I don't mean to hijack the meeting or anything, but I'm just curious, is everybody able to get out and ride? And how's everybody doing?
A little bit. My mom's supposed to ride with us for the first time this year. She was going to ride with us for the first time last year, and then we didn't do that. So I think for her, that's our primary training goal, is to make sure my mom is getting out there, and she's all overwhelmed. 30 miles, I can't ride 30 miles. And my sons and I keep telling her, yes, you can. It's not a big deal. It's flat.
She's going to get done with 30, and she's going to say, that's it? That's all it was? Let's go do 20 more, make it 50. That happens so often. So much about riding is mental.
Yes.
You know, the hardest century you'll ever do is the first one. Doesn't matter if it's uphill or flat.
I do a lot of indoor riding because this humidity is just too much for me.
Are you doing your Peloton?
Yes, ma'am.
Good for you.
Karen too.
I've been doing something that's new during COVID, and I hope I keep it up when things get back to normal. I have a standing appointment with my sister and my niece and my sister-in-law. The four of us, we get on a Zoom call and we do a yoga session every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the morning. It's just a half an hour. But I've really noticed it's really benefiting my riding because I'm more flexible, and, you know, I actually think about my breathing when I'm riding now. So, I mean, that's been a good thing.
Are you guys thinking about doing this call again? Like, I'm just curious, and how often?
Yeah, well, I think that's a question for you guys. And it's so funny that you brought that up, because I was actually going to ask that before everybody signed off. But we would love to do this call again, and we would love for you guys to invite your friends and family too, really any people who want to join in this conversation. I think so many people have been affected by MS in different ways. I think it's just important that we gather as a group and that we hear feedback as a community. So what do you guys think? How often would you like this to be?
Probably.
I think once a month.
Yeah, that's good, Debbie. Yep.
Love that.
Perfect. Well, we will definitely make sure to add that to the calendar and keep this recurring, because I personally love this discussion. I've known a lot of you guys for the entire time that I've been with the society, but I've realized that I've never really heard your full stories until today. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity to hear from you guys.
And
I'm sorry that I missed all that. I got here late.
Oh, you're okay, Susie. But being new to the society, for me at least, it's my first time seeing some of your faces, and my first really I read with MS experience with you guys. So thank you. It's so nice to meet a lot of you guys virtually.
I went to, I think it was maybe not last year, but the year before is when they kind of started some I Ride with MS get-togethers in the Triangle area with riders primarily from the Newbern ride. But what I like about this format is that we can kind of cross-pollinate with the rides and sort of kind of look at, I kind of view it as sort of Bike MS Carolinas, not Newbern or Tour de Tanglewood. So that's kind of cool. But I really enjoyed the times that I got together with everybody in person for I Ride with MS, because I enjoyed the social part of it. It was just, I was surprised how much I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Debbie Ham, for organizing that. But I was really excited when I saw that you were going to do this format for this, because I would really like to, I'd like to enjoy the social part and just hear how everybody's doing and things like that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We will definitely get this on the calendar.
So I'm going to wear my bike jersey next time. Get kind of pumped up.
Elizabeth is all in, y'all. Just put that seatbelt on, because she'll take you for a crazy ride.
I have my bike jersey.
I love cycling. I joke, and if you asked me, you can only go on one kind of vacation for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I'd say, oh, easy, cycling vacation. That's what it would be. So I don't ever want to give up my bike.
Matt, let's see that jersey. Can you stand up?
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Yay!
The only reason I'm wearing it is because I'm trying to get a bike ride in after we get finished.
Oh,
We're
good for you.
holding up.
Well, now you have to, Matt. You have to ride now. We're going to hold you
I
accountable.
wore mine this morning.
I stuck mine in early before, because I could see the rain coming. I said I better get it in really quick.
Love it. Does anyone have, what was that? I'm sorry. Did someone have something? No. I just want to, we don't want to hold you guys up. Is there any closing thoughts that you guys have that you want to add to the conversation before we finish up?
I just wanted to show you something that Beth had done for me. I've been a vibe writer for a long time. She made a blank quilt out of my quilt.
Oh my gosh. It's
I love
so
it.
pretty.
That's awesome.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. Did she quilt that?
Yeah, you can see.
Wow.
That is very cool.
I just took all of his extra jerseys and they made him into a quilt.
Neat.
That's so
That's
special.
awesome.
He's a special guy.
Oh.
Hey, Jen Martin, is that your new house?
Yes, yes, it is. We're finally in. We don't have anything on the wall yet, but I don't even care.
Congrats.
We're in, and I don't think we could have done this COVID thing had we not gotten in.
I know I got to this conversation really late, but before we close, I guess I read in the email that there was a big announcement was going to happen during this Zoom meeting. Did I miss it?
So there is a big announcement coming in our team captain meetup that we have next week.
Okay.
And that may have been what you saw.
Okay.
So we cannot share the information of that yet. To be quite honest, we don't have all the details of it yet. Otherwise, I would love to give you guys a sneak peek. But be sure to join the team captain meetup. And I did want to emphasize that that is open to everybody. Even if you're not a team captain, if you're a leader in your MS community, we would love to have your voice heard in that conversation. So if you want the meeting link to that, we would love to see your smiling faces on it.
That's a week from tonight, right? On the 18th?
Correct. Yes. Okay. I think I said this. I keep getting it mixed up, but it is the 18th. You're right.
I will wait patiently then.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. We wanted to again thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us tonight. It was so great to see all your faces virtually. We will be sending up a follow-up email with all the information that we shared tonight, and feel free to pass it on to your team members. And thank you so much for working to end the fight against MS.
Hey, I'm going to hijack you guys for 1 second. I just wanted to do a big shout out to the staff because I know how incredibly hard they've been working to revise their budgets, cut back, cost savings, cost cuts, all of that stuff, both personally and with the thing. And they've been sacrificing all along the way with furloughs and all that stuff. So thank you all so much for your dedication. I'm really, really proud of everybody and proud of the organization for how quickly it pivoted. So thanks.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That means
Thank you, ladies.
Pivot is our favorite word right now, but
Oh, sorry, I didn't get the memo.
no. That is our favorite word. We're doing a lot of pivoting. So thank you for noticing, and thank you for sharing those words with us. We really appreciate it. Does anyone else have anything? All right. Well, so great to see you guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.